Jago here from the Shot Clock Podcast. Hope you enjoyed Monday's episode. Here's part 2. Welcome back, Mr. Ian O'Boyle. So, you and 4 others going to a pickup game. Some people you've played with or you've played against. Who are you taking with you to the gym? You're more than likely going to be playing Elaine Scally's team because not even the 96 Bulls can knock her off the court.
I saw that. Yeah.
I've no idea. But, who's O'Boyle taking? Positionally, who are you taking to the court?
Oh, look, man, like I've been kind of like super fortunate to play against and with like just insanely good players, like way better than me, both in Ireland and in New Zealand and America and Australia. Like just, like I said, like some NBA players and guys that would have played like in other really good leagues. But I'll stick with like a whole Irish crew, I reckon, for this one. Okay. So I put myself at the 2, obviously, because pretty much can't play any other position. I'll stay there. I guess we'll put Paul Cummins at the 3. Have a bit of a kind of a shoot fest going on in the wings there. The 3. No one else will probably get a pass to the ball unless they get a rebound. It's like the only way they're going to get the ball. I'd put Jason Killeen in at the 5. I think Jay is such an awesome player and an awesome dude. We were roommates like in those years in the Irish team together, and we became really good mates. But he's like, just in terms of like, a big Irish basketball player, he's got to be up there, one of the best, because he's just so talented. Like he's big, he's strong, he can shoot that kind of like, mid-range jumper really well.
Absolutely.
He's super intelligent on the basketball court. He's like a great teammate, great attitude. So yeah, and obviously like, running off his screens and stuff.
Oh, you're getting
pretty
open.
fun.
You're getting open.
Yeah. And then man, I have to put you at the 4. I'm not blowing smoke up your arse, but man, if it's yourself and Jason Killeen down in the post and myself and Cummins running off screens all day or ball screens on the wing, like, that's going to be pretty hard to defend.
You're getting open, yeah. You're getting open.
Yeah, exactly. Or we'll hit the pick and roll for you guys for a few alley-oops, So it would just be fun as well to play with you guys. So, you at the 4. And then, I'd put at the 1, it would be Kevin Young, the coach, the player coach. Because do you remember he played a game one time? I think Jay Reid was injured.
Ben had gone home. Ben had gone home.
That was it. It was Ben.
For two games or something. Kevin stepped up, and we were trying to convince him to play the rest of the season.
I know, he played so well. We could have gone small ball the whole season. Because I just remember, like, he was just like, he probably would have had like 10, 15 assists that game, and he was like such a hard-nosed defender. And I don't know how the whole player-coach thing would have gone. That's never a great idea, I don't reckon. But yeah, just in terms of like being a hard-nosed little point guard, like typical little, white boy from the southern states in America, like he was
major chip on his shoulder.
yeah, he was really good. So he would have been a good one to have. At the point guard position. And then I know we're only supposed to have 5, but I'd bring some subs. I'd bring Connor Grace as well to give your old knees a rest after a while, play before.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Grace, I mean, man, Connor Grace is just like, he's up there now as well. Has to be one of the best Irish basketball players of all time. Like, I mean,
and
not just because like
so much because of all the administrative.
Yeah, like I loved playing with him on the national team, but like, what he did over at Davidson was just incredible for an Irish guy. Like he was, getting doubles like almost every game, and playing against North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and Duke at Durham. Like he was just, and still is, like, a great player. Me and him used to work out a lot when I was in UCD. He was home, like, during the summer or whatever, in between leagues, and we used to get shots up all the time during the day at UCD. We became really good mates, and then obviously with the Irish team. So I'd bring in him as well as a sub for you. He could play any position. He could play the point guard position as well. Yeah.
Do you remember?
And then I'd bring Kieran.
The Irish team played in the arena, and you were staying up in the Maldron. And We all ended up in
Coppers. It was Coppers. Yeah. I remember. I reckon I still owe you a tenner for the taxi home.
All I remember is Pat Price looking at me and going, You look after these guys. They've got a game. I don't understand.
Man.
They're going, you're putting me in charge.
Yeah.
Clearly, you don't
There's
know.
no looking after us, man. Good luck with
You,
that.
McAvoy, Jason was with us. Oh, that was a good night.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Always a good night with you lads. But yeah, the other lad you'd have to bring would be McAvoy, not because he's a good basketball player, but just for a bit of crack. he's always a bit of crack when you bring McAvoy.
Absolutely. All-time drinking 5, bring McAvoy.
Yeah. I reckon that team will go pretty well, man. Like if that was a Super League team or any other team, I reckon we'd win a few games.
Definitely. I was playing with and against McAvoy there a couple of weeks ago down the Aina outdoor courts. He's still playing. He's still got it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's an athletic specimen, that fella. I don't know how, but he is.
He's in good shape.
I remember because me and you obviously used to play a lot of pickup together. You know, I remember in the Oblet Hall and even in the arena and stuff. I remember one time in the arena, it was like myself, yourself, Scott Kinevin, and I think 2 other young lads or something. And we were just like, you know, beating teams 11-0 like all night. And some guy from another team, I'd never even seen him before, but he could play a little bit. He came up to us. You might remember this. He came up and he was like, oh, like, you know, the teams are unfair. Like, you guys are just like winning all the games and all this stuff. And I was like feeling a bit sorry for him or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, like maybe, you know, we should change up wherever. And you just like came in, like shoved me out of the way. And you were like, shut up, right? I'm pushing those bleachers over there. Like,
doesn't sound like
I guess
me
we're not
at all.
changing the teams. It was so funny. I was like, all right. So I felt bad for the guy. I think he like grabbed the stuff and went home.
Look, when you stay on, lose, there's the door. You know what I mean? Nobody's asking you to stay.
Yeah. So no, you were right. I was being too soft, but you came in.
That's the New Virginia. That's the quiet Newbridge lad. You know, just let him play, let him get a win. No.
Yeah.
So top 5 musical artists of all time.
Yeah. I listened to your episode with Shane O'Mara, and I think I've got an eclectic taste in music, like Shane does.
We're going with eclectic, are we? I love that word.
That's the word of the podcast. Oh man, seriously, like I'll listen to anything, like depending on where the mood takes me, you know, like that could go from like hardcore dance music to like really chilled out Enya type music, you know. It just depends what mood I'm in. But no, Enya wouldn't be on my top 5. I'm just setting the scene here. Now, look, the person I like listening to a lot. I try to play a bit of guitar myself. John Mayer. He's such an amazing guitarist. You know, good singer. He's like a modern day kind of Eric Clapton. Might be a bit bold, but he's I've seen him in concert like a few times. He's just like an absolute master on the guitar.
He's
like his poppy
playlist.
He's on your playlist?
Yeah, I have him, live at LA Auditorium. That CD.
That album's amazing. Yeah, like I'm not like keen on like, you know, the poppy stuff. Like, you know, I'm sure that the studio make them put out to make money, but like all that acoustic live stuff.
Free Fall. His version of Free Falling is just different level.
Yeah. So no, I really like listening to John Mayer. That'll be kind of like my go-to if I'm just like chilling out or whatever. When I was like, you know, younger teenager, Tupac was like all the rage. Like me and a few of my mates, like we're just big into Tupac. I know that's been said a few times on the podcast. But yeah, just like was really into that. Not like a lot of other rap, really. Just kind of like Tupac. Yeah, it was that was my go-to, you know. So I listened to a lot of that. Green Day. And like particularly Green Day, the Dookie album. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I still listen to that today, man. I've been listening to that for like a good, how old am I? I'm 37. I've been listening to that for almost 30 years, I reckon, that album. It's just so good and like still epic even today. Who else, man? Do you know who I really like is the Dubliners. You know, throwing an Irish band in there. I remember like grabbing your iPod and some trips up to Belfast or down to Cork, and you'd have all like the Dubliners in there and all the Irish greats. So I reckon it was from listening to your iPod that like got me onto a lot of that stuff. My dad used to listen to a lot of trad stuff as well, obviously, but yeah, I like the Dubliners. And then, man, I don't know, any type of like house, electronica music as well. Like if I'm in that type of mood, like Tiesto and some of these guys, like
Yeah, you know how used to be pumping that in the house.
Yeah. If we were,
you could hear, you could nearly see the windows shaking. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. If
It's either Ian or Luke were in charge of the
night.
music tonight.
Yeah. Oh, I remember we'd have some good nights in that house. Like it was pretty epic. Yeah, it was a good group of lads. So yeah, man, pretty eclectic. Whatever the mood kind of strikes me, that's what it'll be.
So you were the DJ. What 3 songs are we warming up to before tip off? I kind of took control of the hoops. I was the one who used to put the musical playlist together, so nobody really got a look in.
Yeah. No, I used to like that though. I was always pretty hyped up in the warm ups for hoops. It was always a good time. Obviously worked because we bloody won a lot of games, so must have been the playlist.
Must have been the playlist. I'll take credit.
I like that. That song. Like at the moment, "The Business" by Tiesto. I really like that song as like a warm up song.
Yeah.
That gets the blood pumping a bit. Guns N' Roses, "Welcome to the Jungle." That's an epic song.
Yeah, first shout out to Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Dropkick Murphys, "Shipping Up to Boston."
There's my number 1. That was our jam back in the day.
Yeah, that's still a great song.
We used to go with what was the first 2 Tribes, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and then straight into "Shipping Up to Boston." That was the first 2 every day. And "Welcome to the Jungle" on there as well.
Was it?
Almost sure that was one of my go-tos. Yeah.
See, man, it's just implanted in my brain now, you know. Yeah, I don't know, man. The other songs I like the White Stripes, "Seven Nation Army." I reckon that's a good one for a warm up. Yeah. So any of those, man, I'd be doing like 360 dunks all over the place whenever they go on. For sure.
There's some good tracks. Have you looked back at the speaking of dunks? Have you looked back at the Irish slam dunk competition on YouTube? You get a 3-second little 3-second clip.
I haven't, like, not recently, but I have seen it in the past, maybe 5 years or something.
That was the first time we played together. Was that night? You and Luke played together for the first time that night.
Oh, like in the scrimmage or whatever.
Yeah, for Brainwave. Bowie or
Yeah. I remember like trying to like scrape a dunk together in that competition. I just played more of a ring tap type of thing.
Then Jermaine came in and jumped over Shane.
That's right. Yeah.
Actually, I'll link that down below because people need to watch that. That was just.
That's still up there on the internet somewhere, is it?
Oh, it's still up there, still up on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You should.
I'll definitely link it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. God, Jermaine Turner is a serious athlete.
Yeah.
He's epic. Yeah. Nice guy too. Actually, he's great. He's not in Ireland anymore, is he?
He's living in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I think that's where he is.
Right. I thought he was one of those guys that would like settle in Ireland for life, like some.
No, he just married an Irish girl and ran away.
Right. Oh well, sure, he might be back. He might. The Irish girl will probably drag him back eventually.
Look, Lisa Grinnell and the Grinnell family, they will pull him back to Ireland. That's
that's.
You know what I mean? It's inevitable, So, 16-year-old you, I would have known 16-year-old you. But what advice would you give yourself, knowing everything you know now about life, basketball, everything? What advice would you give 16-year-old Eno Boyle?
Yeah, these are like super tough questions. Like when I was 16, like I know some people would say, oh, like focus more, or like be more committed, be more dedicated. Man, when I was 16, I was like so hyper focused and dedicated to basketball. It was almost the opposite. Like, kind of, don't be so focused and committed to it, like to the detriment of other areas of your life, Because I think what happens a lot in basketball, like with guys like myself, yourself, it becomes like a part of your identity. And, that can be a good thing in some ways, but it can also be quite a dangerous thing, especially when you leave the sport or if you get like a serious injury and it's taken away from you.
Yeah.
you need to be able to fall back on like the person you are and your support network, and understand that like basketball might be a hugely important part of your life, but it's not the only part of your life. It shouldn't be the only part of your life. And for me, it just defined who I was for so long, like from 12 years old up to 33, 34 years old. So like, the guts of 20 years, it was like, this is who I am. I'm Ian, I'm the basketball player, like, and that's all I do, all I want to do. And that was like I kind of feel like, maybe I shouldn't have been like just so hyper focused on it. But then, I kind of look back and I'm like, well, if I wasn't so focused and committed to it, I probably wouldn't have like, made a Super League team or been able to go to the States or play over in New Zealand and here in Australia, or make the Irish team, So it's kind of like that balance, I'm not sure if I wasn't that kind of had that tunnel vision for basketball, whether I would have kind of had a bit of success that I had. So I don't know, like, so maybe I would say that to my 16-year-old self, but then I'm kind of like, nah, it's probably bullshit. You should have just, I was kind of happy, like looking back, I was happy about the way I approached it, I just went all in, and like I wasn't fast, like I wasn't particularly tall, wasn't athletic. But what I was willing to do was pretty much to work really hard and like get in the gym and get shots up in the morning, in the evening, at nighttime. I was happy to do that. And I knew that by doing that, that's how I would get better or get as good as the guys that were like more talented than me, or taller, bigger, faster, stronger, whatever. And that worked, man, that recipe for success, like once you figure out that works, like that commitment, that determination, you can just apply that to all other areas of your life, Yeah, like absolutely. I apply that to my work. I apply it to being a dad. I apply it to all other stuff, just like commitment, determination, facing adversity, be confident in yourself. So those lessons that you learn from being so focused on basketball, you just apply that to other areas of your life, and you'll pretty much achieve that same type of success. Eventually there'll be hurdles and stuff, of course, but yeah, that'll get you over the line. So I'm thankful that I learned those lessons at a pretty young age. So I don't know, man, that's a long-winded answer for you, but I guess I would say to 16-year-old Ian, like, basketball is a super important part of your life, but it's not going to be the only part. Like, I'm 37 now. Hopefully I live to be 100 years old, and I'm probably, I'm never going to play basketball again, pretty much. And I'm fine with that, and some people aren't. Like, some people transition out of basketball really poorly, and you see it in like elite sport all over the world, where guys retire and they face crazy amounts of depression, and some commit suicide, and it's a really awful scenario. And it's because of that loss of identity that they have, that they no longer are the elite athlete that they used to be, and they don't get to see the lads every day at training, and they have to like go out into this brave new world and try to reinvent themselves. I think we all go through that, and I started going through that in my last couple of years playing. But at that stage, like I was married and we were having kids and stuff, so I was able to transition into that kind of being a dad lifestyle and focus on that. So I had something to kind of put all my energy and attention onto. But a lot of guys, might not have that, and that's when that can be a real problem. So, and it doesn't have to be like elite sport; it can be anyone. Like, it can just be your average, Division 1 player or Super League player. Once that's taken away from them, that can be, really problematic. And I know like there's some work being done around that. I'm not sure in Ireland, like in Australia, it's acknowledged that this is an issue and this is a problem. I don't know if it's to the same degree in Ireland, but particularly Super League players should be kind of aware of that, and there should be some kind of discussion around that as well. One of the things that always bothered me in Ireland was that there's no Super League Players Association. There's no advocacy group for basketball players in Ireland. No, none that I'm aware of anyway. And there wasn't back in the days.
Look, as far as I'm aware, there's still none,
And it's not like, obviously, Irish players aren't getting paid, millions of dollars every year. It's not for like, negotiating the salary cap like it is, in the NBA, but it's for like an advocacy group to have an input into how the league is run and how many games a season you play and what the travel schedule is like, and it's just like, some bullshit committee in Basketball Ireland make up, these are going to be the rules for the season. These are the amount of players you can have. This is how long the matches are going to be, all this shit. And it's like Super League players just take it and say, all right, we have to do this because this is what the committee says. Bullshit. Like the Super League players are the Super League. That there's no league without the players. Exactly. So that always bothered me. And I think if I had stayed in Ireland, longer, I would have looked to, maybe take a leadership role and try to.
I know, was it discussed our year, like one of our years together? I think me and you could have talked about it.
Yeah, maybe we did. It's something I talked about.
I think, I know I've had a discussion with you about it before, and you're right. You know what I mean? Without players, there's no league. Yeah. So let's make the league as conducive and healthy to players as we can. That it's not back to backs with a 400-kilometer drive in between, or that's it. We've driven to Belfast on a Tuesday night to be back in work on a Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it just doesn't work.
No, man, it's not good, and it would make the league better, and it would hold Basketball Ireland to account better, which God knows they need to be held to account better, as all these national governing bodies. So I think someone should step up to the plate and try to do that.
Even from a simple thing as 3 games in Dublin on a Saturday night, all you're doing is diluting your crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's
I know
and get full gyms again.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, look, you could talk about this all night, but like, when I started in the Super League, there was, your 2 Americans on every team as the imports, but then you could have an Irish American. So a guy who had an Irish passport would count as an Irish player.
Yeah.
And then you'd have Bosmans. Like, I think my first game in the Super League was like 2 Americans, an Irish American, a Bosman, and then me as the starting 5. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, these guys are so good. And then like they changed the rule to say, you can only have 1 American for a while. That was the rule. I don't know what it is now. Is it still only 1 American, or can you have 2?
It's 2, but what way does it work? You can only have 1 of them on the court at any one time or something. Like it's
What kind of bullshit is that?
It's
that's like bullshit.
Yeah, like they can't play together.
Get the best. Oh man, get the best talent you can in the league, and that will make everyone better.
Yeah.
Like, it just watered down and devalued the currency of the league by saying, you can only have 1 American, and all the Irish players have gone through the school system. Get fucked, man. Like, get the best players you can into the league. And I know clubs were complaining that, the rich clubs can like pay for more Americans and we can't afford it. That's bullshit, man. I can
earn money.
Tomorrow, I could give you 30 Americans that will come over here or come over to Ireland, and they'll play pretty much for free as long as you just give them a place to stay.
Yeah.
They want to come over and get out of the States. They want to experience, life in another country, and a stepping stone for them to be seen maybe for other leagues.
Yep.
So how they just don't have, a lot of people in Irish basketball don't have that foresight and vision. And that was the start of the decline of Irish basketball a few years after that, where they made those stupid decisions. And it's never got back since. The Super League has been, I haven't been there, but from what I've seen, it's been a bit of a washed down version of how it was back a number of years ago. So hopefully some people in Basketball Ireland and the clubs collectively need to get together and understand that. And you can have, that decision was probably made because some guy's kid probably wasn't getting enough minutes because the Americans were coming in and taking his minutes. Seriously, man, this is Ireland. Like, this is Irish basketball. This is the shit that happens. So little Johnny wasn't getting enough minutes. So, we changed the rules so he could play more. But like, send little Johnny down to Division 1 where he can play and develop there. And then when he's good enough, he can step up to the big boys and play Super League.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. But kids don't put in the work anymore. Or like, I've said it on.
Do they not?
I
don't know, man. Like,
Dave Donnelly popped over during the week, and we lived in the gym. You lived in you were breaking into a gym to get shots up. We lived on the court. We lived on the court. You'd go to under 16 training, but they were short at under 18 training, so you'd stay on. Then they were short at under 20 training, so you'd stay on again. Whereas now it's like, and Dave Donnelly said it in his episode, he drops these kids to training, and when they're done, they go home. There's not that culture of, I'm going to stay and get as many shots as I can up.
Yeah.
And make myself better,
Yeah, I mean, like there's a wider issue there, obviously, around like, this kind of helicopter parenting stuff that's come in where like, you have to know where your kids are at all times. And obviously when they're like young, you do, but like teenagers, like get them out there and get them in the gym and get them in the weight room. And that's what they should be doing,
Yeah.
So I don't know, man, like hopefully it changes. But look, I used to think like that as well. It was like, oh, the next generation, like, are they putting in the same amount of work as we did? And, there's plenty of examples of guys that should definitely have, like guys that are younger than me that have gone on to do really good stuff in the States and in Europe, like, Jordan Blounce and John Carrolls and Fultzy's little kid who's going over to Lafayette now.
Yeah.
Like that's just amazing, like that there's these guys that are still making it. Like I always thought it's absolutely insane that a kid from Ireland can go over and play any level of college basketball, whether that's Division 3, 2, 1, NAIA, whatever, or even go to a high school, because once you're over there, you see like the amount of good players there are. And then, kid like Fulty's kid from Belfast going over to play at Lafayette, a Division 1 university, you're like, that's just insane. Like, he's doing that despite coming from Ireland, not because he's coming.
Yeah.
I think what those guys are doing is amazing. I'm, super proud to see that young Irish guys are making it still and getting over.
And look, we've a multitude of male and female players doing it in the States.
Yeah, and the women, of course. Multitude. Yeah, the women are even better, man. Yeah. Some of the female basketball players are just smashing it. Yeah, they're great.
Right, great to see. Great to see.
Yeah, I love it.
So, second last question.
Yeah, man.
Dead or alive, 5 dinner guests you'd invite to your house for dinner. Friends, family, or famous. The choice is yours. Who's sitting down at your table?
Oh man, I could do like obviously the whole basketball thing and go Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Allen Iverson, whoever. I mean, that's a bit boring though. Yeah, I've watched like some of the other episodes on the podcast, and some people have had some interesting people. I reckon I would change it up a bit, and I'd go for an all-female dinner list. Just because I don't know if has anyone actually invited a female. I didn't see Elaine Scally's episode, but did she have some female dinner guests? Everyone else had all males. Where's the gender diversity here?
Scally had Pippen, Ant and Deck. I'm gonna say James Corden. She'd a random 5 as
even
well.
The female guests you had on didn't even pick any females. Oh. That's feminism right there, man. They eat themselves, the feminists.
So you're going all women.
Yeah. So the first one, right? It would be Rosa Parks.
Yes.
Because I'd love to see what Rosa Parks would think of the state of the United States today, but elsewhere in the world as well. That 70 years after she refused to give up her seat on that bus, that we still have widespread racial inequality.
Yeah.
I think it's an indictment on the United States as a country, but obviously elsewhere in the world as well. Geez, Australia is no better. It's shocking over here as well, the way they treat Indigenous people. But yeah, Rosa Parks, I think, would be a really interesting person to have a sit down and talk to and get her thoughts on the current state of racial inequality. Do you know who Malala Yousafzai is? The Muslim girl who was she was basically shot
in the head or something. She was shot.
Yeah, exactly. For saying that girls should be allowed to go to school in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So I think we hear so much like about men and men who we should admire and all this stuff. Man, men, like particularly old white men, have been destroying the world for years. We don't want to hear them anymore. Like we want to hear from at least young men, but more so young women. I think more women need to be in power around the world, and I think the world would be a lot better place if we had that situation. So she would be my next one. Jacinda Ardern, keeping with the female leadership streak, she's the Prime Minister of New Zealand.
And who's done really well during this COVID times.
Exactly, yeah, and it's
smashed it, yeah.
Yeah, it's her leadership in that space has been key for that. Mm-hmm. But she's a great leader of New Zealand. We lived in New Zealand for 2 years, and she wasn't the Prime Minister at the time, but when she came in there, I think the whole country kind of embraced her, and she's regarded as as the prototype of what a world leader should look like, or should act like, at least in this day and age. So I think she'd be another great one to have. Greta Thunberg, the little Swedish girl, the environmental activist. Living here in Australia and by the coast, you really see like the impact that climate change is having like on the world. Like the Great Barrier Reef is like disappearing. It's like just insane. I don't think enough is being done to combat climate change. And again, it's like, old white guys that want to keep the world to be powered by coal and oil and gas. And, we have renewable energy, we have electric cars. It's starting to make financial sense.
Yep.
But these guys just want to hold on to the money and the power, of course. So I think voices like hers need to be amplified more, and more people need to get behind her. So how many was that? Was that 3 or 4? Four. And then the other person I'd have would be my daughter, Izzy. So she could see that, this is what women can achieve in the world, and these are good female role models for her. Because I think a lot of times females along the way, get told that you can't be a leader, or you can't do this, you can't do that. And I never want her to think that. She has this like insane level of like determination and tenacity and stuff, and she's only 8 years old. And I never like want her to lose that. So I want to make sure that she sees like powerful female role models like the women I've mentioned here. So yeah, she'd be my 5th one. I know you've got daughters yourself, so I'm sure you understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
At that age, girls are, they're such good leaders, and they're thoughtful, and they're compassionate, and they've got loads of empathy, and they collaborate well with each other. And those are all the skills we need in terms of leadership in the world, and all the skills that are lacking.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we need to make sure that girls and women are put in those positions of power, because Jesus Christ, men have been fucking up the world for the last
for long
thousands
enough.
of years. So yeah, we need to give the women a chance, I reckon.
I completely agree. Yeah, look, I've 2 daughters, a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old. My 3-year-old is my assistant coach with my teams. Yeah. Any of my players who are tuning into this will know exactly how bossy and how tenacious she is. She's different level.
Yeah, they're great.
Oh, they're fantastic. So next question, we were talking off camera. You've gone vegetarian. I've done a stint as vegan. What are we eating for dinner if those 5 ladies are coming over? Are you cooking?
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like we've been vegetarian for the last 4 years, and it's been like one of the best decisions we ever made, to be honest. Like it's great. Like feel super healthy, more energized. Like it's cheaper, better for the environment. I think it's the best thing ever. So I'd encourage anyone out there to give it a crack if they're thinking about it. But I don't know, man. Like I love Mexican food. I think that's like so good, and like being vegetarian as well. Like you can pretty much eat a lot of Mexican food is vegetarian anyway. Yeah. So I'd probably go with that. Not too spicy, like that doesn't go down too well with me. But a bit of medium spice, some delicious like tacos, fajitas, burritos, like just send it all, man. I mean, we don't have good Mexican food. South Australia does not have good Mexican food, which is a major bummer. So I missed that. I don't know if there's good Mexican food in Ireland. Is it? There wasn't, I don't think, when I was.
There was a lovely little place out in Dundrum Shopping Centre, La Cortina, but it's gone now.
Right. No.
And then like everything else is like boojum and that. It's like burritos and.
Oh yeah. I remember that place. Yeah, that was good.
So they're like that's all right, but like the big thing now with lockdown is just food trucks. Like everybody's kind of getting into the food truck game,
Okay. Yeah.
So I have a lot of friends who've opened places, and are doing really, really well. So I'm just
nice.
Continues on. When you get back, I'll take you around. We can go on a tour of the food trucks.
Man. Definitely, man. Definitely, yeah. No, that sounds good.
So, last question, Ian. And look, first and foremost, thanks a million for giving up your time. I know the time difference. It's good to catch up. Definitely, we're going to.
Yeah, it's great.
Joey, we're talking about trying to get the whole team back on for a Zoom call. Wait,
that'd be great.
I reckon Kevin's going to go deep into the playoffs this year with the Suns, so we may have.
They will, man. Let's wait until he's an NBA head coach, and then he can give us like box seats or something.
Absolutely, we'll fly somewhere for the meeting. Look, best of luck with everything that you're doing at the minute. Love to Melissa and the kids, and look, keep posting those pictures because it's my touch of sunshine on the daily basis. Your kids out there, surfing. Man, unbelievable.
My crew will love to hang out with your crew when we're back. So
definitely.
We'll catch up. Yeah.
So, last question: who would you like to see on the podcast?
Yeah, well, obviously try to get Kevin on. I don't know if you've reached out to him at all, but
we've
get him on.
Coming on. It's just again NBA schedules.
Yeah. Oh man, hectic. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you could get Cummins on. Like I know he's done another podcast, the Hoopfolio one, Mark Reynolds one, where he's talked about what he's been doing with the coaching side of stuff and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, he's always good to get some insight into. Connor Grace, man, that'd be good. Mike Bree, if you can, like those guys, like were just such trailblazers for like guys like myself. And I know Shane O'Mara was talking about Mike Bree, but like what he did getting over to Davidson, like one of the first guys to get over to a Division I school, and
I think
coming out of Sligo.
I know Noel Phelan was the first when he went to Robert Morris.
Yeah, that's
right. He dropped 11 against North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Philo did.
Nice.
So
there's lots of stories like that people don't know about. That I didn't even really know about.
Yeah.
Way before social media and any type of internet, even. So, there's like a rich history of guys that have gone to the States or gone other places and done amazing things. And lots of people don't know about it. So.
Sure, look,
it'd be good.
The GB under 20 coach is from Tralee, you know what I mean? GB under 20 coach Alan Keane is from Kerry.
Right.
And he coached the British Commonwealth Games team as well.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ex-Tralee Tigers and is possibly one of the best basketball coaches I've sat down with in a long, long time. But who in Irish basketball, unless you're in the know, knows these things.
Yeah, that's a problem, because like you need to foster that culture that, there's an appreciation of like people have come before you, the coaches, the players, and like you can feel more a part of something then, and you can add your little piece to it as well. And we don't do a very good job of that. I know they've done like the Basketball Ireland Hall of Fame and stuff, but I don't know how good that is, but I don't know, man. Like you see what Ireland do, like with the GAA and stuff, like everyone knows Jimmy McGee, who played for Wexford in the 1952 All-Ireland final. It's like, get fucked. Like, basketball's a way better sport than GAA, Why don't we have the same type of
Who knows that Gerald Kennedy hit a 94-foot shot to win the league and beat Kelvin Troy or Mario Ellie with Jerome Westbrook's coaching? Nobody. Who knows that Darren McGuinness was the only Irish player to play in the Junior World Club Invitational and win it, and the Senior and win it? Nobody knows that. Who knows that Lenny McMillan has won 3 Roy Curtises? Nobody knows that.
I knew that. I knew that one.
Because Lenny
told me.
But it's stories like that, and that's the whole reason why I put this together, was to get the history out there.
Man, it's great. Yeah, and more power to you. I think you should continue to do that. And I don't know, get some of the old crew on here. Like get Liam McHale on here. Another guy that everyone talks about. I've never seen him play at all, right? Or definitely not in his prime. Like I was way too young. But apparently, like he was great back in the day. And,
absolutely.
Lots of guys. So get some of the old crew on. Get some of the new young crew on as well.
Yeah, could do a whole new a season of the guys that are in the States, guys and girls. I have to say, just to see what their perspective is, would be interesting.
Yeah, get more girls on for sure, man. Like we were talking about.
Oh, look, we have it lined up. I've some legends lined up.
Good.
For the next season. You know, they've all agreed.
Yeah, Susan Moran, get her on. Get
Suzanne
Michelle
McGuire,
Aspel.
trying to get Emer Howard, Michelle Aspel, trying to get Lindsay Pete on. I want to get Angie McNally on. Like there's some absolute legends out there that I want to talk to. You know,
definitely, man. Get them on.
And again, shine a light on them because, like I said, I'm coaching the under 16 Fairhouse girls team. How many of them are going to be playing next year? You know, that huge dropout that we have every year of teenage girls in sport.
Yeah,
it needs to be changed. You know, the culture needs to be changed.
Yeah, I know. Like for your daughters coming through, and
it's horrible.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, look, thanks a million for your time.
No worries, Jago. Anytime. Yeah. See you, man.
Take it easy. So there we go. Part 2 of the Eno Boyle episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Really great 5 for dinner. Very thought-provoking, I thought, and a brilliant idea, you know, as a dad to daughters, you know what I mean? Picking 5 women in the year, well, post our 20 for 20 push. Great news about the Irish senior teams back training and the underage teams. Hopefully we get back indoors as teams in July rather than just pods of 6. Hope everyone's enjoying training. Next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going with our wellness week. I'm not going to announce who's on just yet, but I think you're really going to enjoy it, and it's quite thought-provoking. Nutrition, strength and conditioning, sports psychology, and then like a bonus episode that's going to fit in one of those days or maybe on its own, dealing with breathing exercises and cold water immersion. I finally made a team. How amazing is that? Me and Jason Clean, they're 2 big bodies. Look, head on over to the Shot Clock Podcast on Instagram. It's Team O'Boyle versus the podcast queen, Elaine Scally. Anybody who's looking for something else to listen into, the Wolfcast from Drop of the Wolves Basketball Club. Elaine's been on there, Scotty Summersgill. Just a really fantastic insight into their club and helping their players and coaches get to know a little bit more about themselves. And Noel's doing a really good job over there. And anyway, look, I could waffle on forever, you know, and I'm like, I'd love everybody to tweet RTE Sport and let's push them to make sure that they televise the Small Nations European Championships. It's on home soil. They'll show anything. They'll show cricket matches. Why aren't they showing basketball? Let's get this basketball community on board and let's all tweet at RTE Sport and get them to televise the Small Nations European Championships, and we can tune in and watch our men's team and women's teams take part. And until Monday, this is Jago saying, stay safe. I'll see you on the court soon.